Alana Jaylo.
Mm-hmm.
You made me think of something, which is not how I was originally planning to start this.
What did I make you think of?
When you said, don't mind me, I'm putting some lavender oil on.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, before the pandemic, I can't remember if it was you and I hanging out or just me or me and some friends.
Yeah.
It was either you or me or just me walking around the city because I used to do that a lot more.
Okay.
And this guy comes down the street and he's like, hey, don't mind me. I'm just being an asshole. Hey, don't mind me. I'm just being an asshole.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, that wasn't? Okay.
No, you told me about that story and I'm like, why do people say stupid stuff like that?
When it's clearly you're saying that because you want me to give you attention.
Or like somebody said kind of the same thing along the lines and I'm like, yeah, I'm not calling you names. I'm not the one calling you names. You're the one who said it, you know? It's like, really, you're paying it, you're putting too much attention on yourself. It's really annoying.
What do you think it says about an adult who wants attention, but also tries to hide behind something? So they're pretending that they're deflecting attention from themselves when they're really trying to draw to them.
I have no patience for that, and I have a lot of patience, but those kinds of people really wear on my patience.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll say things like, "Oh, I'm for disability rights," right? But they're just hiding behind whatever insecurity they have.
I was thinking more of the guy who said, "Don't mind me, I'm just..."
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Okay,
that's what I mean. He wants you to give him attention, meanwhile hiding behind that. And I honestly think that guy is pretty insecure, if you ask me. And it's like, well, okay, first off, you never called him a name. I never called that guy a name, and I'm like, just ask me if I need help or something.
Well, just ask me if you want attention. Yeah,
ask me if you want me to give you attention, or that if he wants you to give him attention. It's like, do you feel like sometimes those kinds of people just want validation, and it's like, I just want you to validate me because I'm here?
Sometimes.
I hate that.
Yes.
It's really annoying. And it's like, okay. And sometimes I feel like I just want to just walk away from the person and just forget that I even met them. And it's really annoying. It's like, do you want, what do you want? Do you think I need help, or
do you just want me to talk to you because mommy and daddy didn't love you?
Exactly. Do you want me to hug you? Do you need some pet therapy? I'm so sick and tired of those people. They really annoy me to no end.
Yes.
It's like, look. If you're insecure, it's one thing, but don't try to put that on me.
On a similar note.
Yeah.
Let's talk about trigger warnings.
Oh boy.
So we were talking earlier about open mics and what it looks like during the pandemic.
Yes.
And I said that I've gone to a few over Clubhouse, but what I've noticed is everybody wants to qualify by saying, hey, we're not touching these subjects, or could you please give a trigger warning when you come up? And I completely understand that there are times in life where people need trigger warnings, right? So an example that a friend gave me, who we're no longer talking, but she was more conservative, but she said, hey, I like to go on these websites where they talk about teenagers who cut themselves.
Oh,
and
why was she a cutter?
That's her own personal business. I guess we can say yes, since I'm not giving any names.
All right. I don't even know who this person is.
No. You've never met them.
No.
And she says, but, a lot of the times they'll give a trigger warning because it's for kids and they don't want them to view this and then start cutting themselves.
So in other words, a general warning.
Yeah, like, kids. Hey, we're doing this for educational purposes and don't...
Well, that's one thing.
But I don't like it how everything on Clubhouse, and not I'm exaggerating a little bit for a fact, but it feels like when you go to open mics on Clubhouse, there's always like, we have to do trigger warnings, and that feels a little bit too like you can't protect everybody. Well, you're just virtue signaling.
Well, here's a suggestion. Why don't they just say, hey, if you don't like the content on here, you're free to leave.
Exactly. Like, I'll take it off of open mics in a way.
Mm-hmm.
there used to be a bunch of rooms on Clubhouse called Shoot Your Shot. And basically what it would be is people were going to go in there or would and pitch their idea for a movie.
Yep.
So I might come up and say, hey, I'm Rick. My idea for a movie is, when I was 3 years old, I was kidnapped by aliens.
Right.
And I lived on planet Neptune for 16 years and came back to Earth.
Yeah.
And I developed all these superpowers thanks to the atmosphere and was able to overthrow the Chinese government.
That sounds pretty cool. Like it could work as a sci-fi fantasy fiction thing.
That was just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And that did not happen to me in real life, but
yeah.
But what I would notice, babes, is whenever I would go in there, people would just be saying, well, we need a break from that. And this is a toxic atmosphere.
Oh, jeez.
I remember one time, babes, I went in there.
Yeah.
And they're talking about this is a toxic environment. We need to bring it back. And we need to be mindful of the language we use. And then 3 hours later, I go back into the room.
They're still doing
and
it?
they're talking about the same thing.
Well, why can't they? I mean, I'm not on Clubhouse, but if I were running the thing or if I was giving any suggestions, I would say, well, why don't you get rid of the toxicity by telling the toxic people to go?
And it's also what's their definition of toxic.
Right, exactly, because apparently, I guess, our definitions of what toxic is not their definition of what toxic is.
In a lot of cases.
In some ways, yeah.
Right.
I just don't get it. I mean, if you're going to call a room called Shoot Your Shot, it should be just that.
Exactly.
I totally agree with you on this. I wholeheartedly agree with you on this. And I think that, people are so afraid to tell the truth anymore and to discuss things, even if it's uncomfortable, because we have to have these uncomfortable conversations.
Somebody did a poll recently.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was
a general poll?
Well, let me tell you what it's about, babes.
Okay.
Do the humor to me.
Hey.
I want to say it was The Intercept. And the idea was, I think the conclusion was rather that people don't vote for lefty politicians if they get too much into the woke stuff. Right? Mm-hmm. And I'm against language police, but unlike some people, I'm against it on both sides. So I think the woke crowd sucks. And I think the, people on the...
Well, I don't like the censoring of anything. I never,
Yeah, but it's done on both sides. And I don't like it. And I think if I was to run for a politician, I would concentrate on being anti-war, on being pro-gay and transgender rights, on being, on wanting more social programs for poor people, and wanting to uplift the middle class and hold those people in power accountable. And I would concentrate a little bit less on preferred pronouns, trigger warnings, that type of stuff.
And I would run on the exact opposite of what you just said.
You'd be like, I'm pro-war.
No. I wouldn't say pro-war. That's the one thing I wouldn't talk about.
What would you do?
I would be anti-war. I would be pro-marriage and family. And I would, definitely, stay away from the pronouns. And I would, concentrate on getting people back to work and not keeping them home.
We'd be very similar. And a lot of gay people are keeping the pro-marriage and family movement alive in some ways in this country, I would say.
I don't know about that, Bubs. I will say this, there was a woman, and I forgot what her name was, and I heard this like a few years ago, and she, even with her being a lesbian, she even said that same-sex marriage was a bad idea and that she wouldn't get married because the whole thing is so complicated. And, there's some things I didn't agree with about what she said, but I thought, that's interesting. If a lesbian could say that, that's different. And I don't think that the LGBT community is keeping the pro-marriage and family thing alive either.
I don't think it's completely them, but I think it's a lot of ways. And one lesbian says that she has a problem with gay marriage. I could say I have a problem with marriage, but does that mean I speak for all straight people?
Of course not.
So
why does she have a problem with it? I'm curious.
What do you mean?
No, you said she had a problem with it.
No, you said that this lesbian that you were talking about had a problem with gay marriage. And
yes.
My argument was, Well, but if I say I have a problem with marriage, nobody says, well, we shouldn't have straight marriage because I heard of this one blind guy in Portland who's straight and he doesn't believe in marriage. You know what I mean?
That's what no. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm just saying that because you talk to somebody in the LGBTQ community, a lot of them will say, well, we deserve to have marriage rights as much as heterosexuals.
Absolutely.
But the fact that she said that and she is a part of the community is surprising to me, is what I'm trying to say.
But don't you think, babes, that they amplified her voice because she was saying something that fit the conservative agenda?
No.
On one particular issue.
No. I don't think she was conservative at all.
No, but what they do is, and the left does it too. So maybe I should take they out of this.
Yeah.
But oftentimes what sides will do is they'll pick somebody who is diametrically opposed to them on most issues, and they'll find one or two things where they have common ground, and they'll amplify that as part of the conversation. So if you find a black person who loves the police, then you can, but is super liberal on all other things. You say, well, this is a liberal black man, but he loves the police and doesn't think they should be defunded, right?
I have more faith in humanity than you do, but okay. I really don't think that they would purposely pick somebody from their side. I honestly think that people do have opinions.
I think they do too, but I think,
and I don't think that it's just like, oh, somebody is amplifying.
Your phone. Go ahead.
I know. No, I'm not going to get it.
Okay.
Whoever it is, I'll call whoever that is back.
Go ahead.
Anyway, I don't believe that it's like amplification or what have you. I think that people actually do have opinions. And some people, even on their own side, wouldn't agree with them either.
Yeah, I don't think that it's that these people are necessarily disingenuous, although that does happen sometimes. I think what it is, though, is the other side, whoever they are, try to phrase it in such a way to where it makes it sound like this is their one defining opinion.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I think I have a little bit more faith in what other people like people having their own opinions and the amplification of them. Yes. But that's just me.
Well, good.
It's your cynicism, okay?
No, it's just that I study politics, babes. You know.
Well, you're not studying it correctly, in my opinion.
Because you actually look at history, Pops. Give me a kiss, because you need one.
No.
I'm doing you the favor, so yeah. Give me a kiss, because you're getting a favor done right now.
What?
And, it's a holiday, so give me a kiss.
Okay.
I have this thing, babes, switching gears a little bit.
Oh, good.
And I didn't want to say anything last night. I started feeling this way when we were like getting ready to actually go to sleep. Oh. It's nothing against you.
Okay.
So this isn't make fun of Alana Day.
I hope not.
I mean, maybe later, but.
Hey!
We'll see for now. And it kind of, speaking of amplification, this kind of gets amplified around the holidays. Uh-huh. I feel like, and I want to phrase it like that. So I give the disclaimer, just because I feel like this is true doesn't mean it is. Mm-hmm. Right? Because people misinterpret things.
Yeah.
But oftentimes I feel like I don't belong anywhere and I don't fit into any community and nobody loves me and I'm all alone in the universe. And and everybody else has this great connection to the world that I'm denied. And I felt that way last night when I'm getting ready for bed. And it didn't have anything to do with you. It just had to do with thinking, oh, everybody feels so connected and it's just me alone and nobody loves me in the universe.
Okay.
As I'm lying next to my girlfriend of several years.
That's 3.
Okay.
Several means like 5 or 6.
Several means more than 2.
More than 2, I know.
Yes, and 3 is... I
know 3 is more than 2.
My girlfriend can't do math.
Hey!
All right, stop. I love you, babes. All right, give me a kiss.
Now it's make fun of Alana time. Is
Oh,
it?
is it?
No, is that what you're doing?
No. You just said it's fine. Give me a kiss.
I know what the word several means. Excuse me.
Give me a kiss then.
3 is a few, Bubs. Several is like 5 or 6.
Okay, babes.
There's a difference, Bubs.
Okay, I love you.
I know how to do that.
Okay, good.
I had to do that. I had to do that just because I couldn't resist. Okay, so how do you feel this morning?
I feel better. So I went in this mental circle for maybe a half hour. Nobody loves me, and everybody in my life is connected to everybody else, and they're all having a fabulous time right now. And nobody cares at all about good old Rick. And again, this is where we come about. This is a story I tell myself. That doesn't mean that it's true at all. Right? So then I stopped and I'm thinking like, well, hold on a second. Is it that nobody cares about Rick? And here's what started this. I'm on Facebook last night. I think you're in the bathroom getting ready to bed. And I start seeing posts about, oh, Merry Christmas, or these are pictures of me and the fam. And not necessarily people in my family, just people.
Just other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, your phone goes off.
I know. I'm going to have to call them back.
Okay. This sends me down the spiral. But then I start thinking, well, wait a second. No, okay, let's pretend that this is true, that nobody loves me. Right? Well, then the first question is, well, why are you still in a relationship with me? Are you just, you're just, after these many years, you're just trying to humor me and,
Right.
Right? So then let's expand that out further. We mentioned this. I had a friend who checked in with me yesterday. Right? Now, it was about you, but she wouldn't have checked in with me about you.
Yeah. If she didn't care.
Yeah. And this isn't the first. So she's known me for several years. And then I thought about her and I thought, well, at some point, you're not just going to keep checking in with me over more than a decade on a consistent basis if it's just for pity, right?
Exactly.
And if you're just, like, oh, let's
just check on the weird guy.
Yeah. At some point, you got to say that this person genuinely cares after all the hours of conversation and,
right.
All that stuff. So then I start thinking, doing a movie night with some friends who I am in very regular contact, meaning I usually talk with them like once a week for more than just like, hey, how are you? But an actual deep conversation. So it's like, so they've been faking for more than a decade about being my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Really. They're going to devote several hours a week to faking being friends with me.
Exactly.
Right? And then I think, okay, well, my social life has definitely taken a hit since COVID-19. But
as have mine.
Right. But I still do virtual get-togethers with friends, and I still have phone calls with them. So you're telling me that the people I do these virtual get-togethers with, who live in Portland, they've all just been faking for all this for no apparent reason.
Yeah, exactly.
They all just
turned on you all of a sudden because whatever it was.
Well, they've all just been faking since the beginning, and they don't consider me part of their community at all.
Right.
Right. And then I start to think, well, the people I've seen on Facebook post pictures with them and their family, are they really connected, or am I just seeing one picture?
Yeah.
And the 4 hours before then was very complicated, and the 4 hours after that was a bit much for everybody, but nobody wanted to say anything. And they only get together like once or twice a year because it's so tense and take a picture for Facebook.
Well, you notice that every time you're on Facebook or whatever social media thing you're on, when people post things, they just want to post, positive stuff.
Myself included.
They want to post the highlights, whether it's true or not. But some people like to do it. Not all, but some people like to do it just to make themselves look better than what's really going on.
Yes.
And they could be posting pictures of their family, but is it an old picture with them and their family? Or is it a recent picture? Or did they just get together just to take pictures and then they left? And it's just like, okay, let's just get together, have a Christmas meal, and then just
I don't know how much tension is behind these photos. I only know, hey, I'm loving everybody and, we're all doing great at this moment. And what's going to be a loaded term, right?
Yeah. But I was listening to, and I forgot what program it was, because I'm listening to whatever it was, and somebody said, hey, a lot of people are having a good time right now, because it's the Christmas season, if they celebrate Christmas, but not everybody is, because it brings to mind a lot of sad feelings, a lot of tension. Maybe they haven't talked to their parents for a long time and they feel really lonely. And sometimes it's like the loneliest season for them. And I had to think, yeah, you're right, because, some people would love to spend the holidays with their family, but they're estranged. Or they would love to spend the holidays with their friends, but they're estranged. Or a lot of people have died in their life and they're not there anymore to talk to. So I can't say that everybody's having a good time right now, even if I am having a good time and I am getting into the spirit of the season. I have to think about the other people that are not. They're not in the same place that I am. They're very, very lonely and very depressed.
A feeling I have, and again, this is the story that Rick tells himself. That doesn't mean that it's a true story.
Yeah.
So everybody has two sides to their family. They have the dad side and they have the mom side, right?
Yeah.
And the story that I have told myself for decades is that everybody on my mom's side gets along perfectly and I'm just this outcast. And the opposite is true. So the story I tell myself for the people on my dad's side is they're all partying without me and not even thinking about me and having a good time while I slowly suffer. Right?
Right.
But how much of that is just the story I tell myself versus, well, maybe people are a little bit closer, but not everybody is. And
yeah,
you like to tell yourself these stories, but is it really true?
Or maybe it's that, it's the other side of things where people want to, reach out to you, but life gets in the way, or you want to reach out to them, but life gets in the way, or you just don't feel like you can connect with them because you feel, and I'm talking about your mom's side, because you feel like, well, does anybody really care about what how I feel? So it may not be true. It may be like, well, we want to talk to you, we just don't know how.
Yeah. And so you just said something that's interesting. You said you're talking about my mom's side and not both sides of my family.
I meant both sides.
Okay, cool.
I meant not just your mom's side, but both sides.
Yeah.
You don't feel, you feel kind of strange around your mom's side, but then you feel like your dad's side is kind of leaving you out of stuff. Is that right? In some ways?
I guess you could say that, but then one could also make the argument, have I made any attempts too, right?
Right.
But I felt this way as a little kid.
Yeah.
And we know why, because my parents had issues and all that stuff. And meanwhile, I've talked to relatives on both sides of my family who have said, oh, I felt so left out when so-and-so did something, right? And I'm not going to bring up real examples.
And it wasn't just you.
Yeah, but it would be things where I would be at the event and they wouldn't be there. And I'd be like, oh, this is a great event. You should have been there. And they felt left out. Yeah. And they only heard about it on social media. And so it's like, oh, I'm not the only one who feels this way.
Yeah. So, speaking about sides of the family, my mom's side, and I really felt like, even as a young child, I mean, they weren't perfect. I mean, they're not, but I felt more connected to them. Yeah. Because I saw them more. Yeah. And on my dad's side, when I would, spend time with my grandparents, they did the best that they could, but it felt like there were no room for kid stuff. Like it was like an old people's place. You understand what I mean?
I hear you.
And I didn't feel like I could be a little girl in that place. I mean, as much as I could. I mean, I could be in the backyard or, play with the dog that my uncle had and other things, but it just seemed like my grandma had her stuff, and they were not to be touched, and nothing that was supposed to be touched, and nothing was explained, and she had her stuff. And, my grandpa tried. I'm not going to say that he didn't. But then there's the other part of my dad's side where it's very, very disconnected. The one relative I told you about that I haven't seen in years.
Yeah.
And then the one relative that lives in another state, and I haven't seen her in years, but she was just like so wrapped up in her family that she hasn't really reached out to us very much. And I don't know. I kind of felt like as kids, we have tried to connect with them as much as possible. And in some ways we were forced to connect with them. We were forced to call them. We were forced to, I felt that way anyway. We were forced to tell them about our accomplishments. And it's just like, why do we have to do that? Why couldn't they be the ones to reach out to us? And I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm going to reach out to the people that actually want to reach out to me. See, it's very, very hard.
This is different from me because I don't feel like I put in the effort. But I feel like I didn't put in the effort because I felt like it didn't matter, right?
Okay.
And so I kind of feel like I either got to make more of an attempt to reach out to people or just realize that, everybody has their own deal in life.
Yeah.
And like, for real, how many people are really just trying to slight good old Rick, right?
Right.
It's probably less people than I tell myself.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about relationships.
Okay. Just in general?
Well, they could be either platonic, they could be old partners, either one, right? But let's talk about relationships that ended. In my mind, and this has been with every woman I've been with up until you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's an exception to this rule. No, I don't think there is.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt that when a relationship has ended, it meant nothing to the other person, and they immediately moved on like that day. And if they thought about me, they thought of how much better they're doing now that they're not with me. And I felt less of that with friendships that ended, but I to some extent, I felt like the friendships that ended where it wasn't my fault, but it was like a mutual falling out, that they immediately moved forward and they never thought of me again. And if they did, it was negative and, all that stuff.
Well, wait a minute though. How many, you don't have to name names, but
go ahead.
How many people, how many relationships where, was it to the, how many people were, where you were the one who broke up with? I can't, for some reason I can't ask it right. How many women did you break up with yourself? That you can think of?
Let me see.
Because it couldn't have just been.
No, I know. I don't know the exact number, but you're right. There have been occasions where I broke up with women too. But I always think of it too where I broke up with them and then they go home and then they immediately call some guy and, that night something happens. Mm. But again, this comes back to, this is a story that Rick tells himself. Mm. And Rick's stories aren't necessarily always true.
I've told myself that too, but the mutual, sometimes even the mutual breakups I've had, I've told myself that too.
Right. And it's easy to focus on the relationships, the romantic ones, because it's a little bit more sensational. Mm. But it happens with friendships too, right?
Yeah, just recently with mine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough.
And you tell yourself that this person immediately moved on, they never cared about you, and they are so glad that they no longer have to deal with you in their life.
Or that they were faking the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess the question I have for you is, we could keep telling ourselves these negative stories, mm-hmm. which may have a grain of truth in them. And I think here's the problem. Mm-hmm. With the feeling disconnected from family or feeling like ex-partners or ex-friends no longer care about you and never did, mm-hmm. it feels like there's always a grain of truth that we blow out of proportion
Yeah.
So how do we look at the flip side? How do we look at, I had a friendship that ended badly, and yet that person must have been going through some stuff. And maybe I contributed to it, but maybe they were just having a rough go at it. So it's not necessarily that they hate me or never liked me, but it's that they were just going through some trauma. Or I had a bad breakup. Yeah, the person moved on, but it maybe wasn't that night. And maybe that they feel some pain over it. Or, yeah, I feel disconnected, from family. And it sucks. And maybe part of it is true, but maybe part of it is people just don't know how to connect, and they're trying their best, and their way of connecting, their love language is different from mine. So it's neither one of our faults. How do we tell ourselves that story more consistently than just the negative everybody hates me?
Well, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm over my friendship, because it's been since July.
Yeah.
And I haven't talked about it a lot because it's still very painful.
We're gonna call her in just a minute.
No, we're not. No, we're not. I don't even know what her number is anymore. Anyway, and I'm still, I have to admit, I'm still, a little bit angry with how this happened, because it was just so abrupt and I had no warning. And I can't make sense of it right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I suppose I should feel compassion towards her, because maybe she is going through some emotional stuff. Maybe she feels like people have, taken advantage of her, help, in the sense that, people have asked her to, do things for them, just, have her around to help, to, have her do stuff for them. But then I think about myself, and then I put the negativity on me, like, well, should I have called more? Should I have reached out? And at the same time, I'm thinking, well, I can't go back and change that. I mean, maybe I should have, but I can't really do anything about it now. And it's hard. I just kind of go back in circles, and I haven't thought about it in a long time, but that's what it reminds me of.
I want to say a few things.
All right.
So the lady my friend who texted me the other day has known me for years, right?
Yeah.
There was a situation where I was the bad guy, not with her, but with somebody else. And I really hurt somebody, screwed somebody over. And it took me a while nothing illegal or anything like that, but it took me a while to realize, I was a really horrible person in this particular situation. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking about asking this person for forgiveness. And I'm talking with my friend from yesterday. We're having a long phone discussion. And she says, I know you want to do the right thing and your heart is in the right place. But consider this. The person has moved on with their lives, and you want to ask forgiveness, but maybe it would bring up some old issues for them, right? So I'm not saying that you don't do it, but maybe you consider that before you reach out to them. And then she said, one thing you can do, regardless of whether you reach out to this person or not, is the next time you're in a situation that's kind of similar, remember that person who you feel that you did wrong to, and say to yourself, I'm going to do better in this situation for so-and-so. Because I wasn't a good person the last time around, I'm going to be a better person and be better because of the person I screwed over in the past, right? And so you try to honor the person by being better. And how this relates to you is, maybe the lesson is, I could have called more often. I could have reached out more often, but I didn't. But I still have other people in my life who I'm friends with, who I can reach out to more often, who I can check in with and make sure that they're doing okay in life. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you think of what I just said?
I think it's a healthy way to handle it. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't ask this person to
and I'm not saying you need to ask your friend to forgive you, but I'm saying.
Well, I actually did.
Okay.
But I didn't read the rest of her email because I just thought I just couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. I don't even know. I think I might still have it, but I just kind of thought, well, okay, I did my part. I asked for forgiveness. Whether or not she accepts it that's on her.
Yeah.
And I can't change the fact that this happened. I can't change her mind. And if she does come back, she comes back. I will pray that she will, that she will, come to terms with it, I guess.
Yeah.
I would hope that she would come to terms with it. And if she isn't, and if she decides that she wants to be my friend again, that's on her.
Yes.
I just can't do anything about it now.
I'm going to bring up Buddhism for a moment. Oh, I know Alana gets a little bit twiggled, but trigger warning.
I'm not twiggled.
Okay. No, I'm a white guy, and I only bring that up. I did not grow up in a Buddhist household. This is what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was some Buddhist teacher, it might have even been the Buddha. Somebody asked about forgiveness and all that stuff. And they said, well, yes, ideally you want to fully forgive a person and move on like nothing ever happened. And they're like, yes, that is the ideal. But some people aren't at the place where they can do that, right? And if you're not at a place where you can fully forgive a person and forget what happened, then maybe instead you start with trying to empathize with the person and saying, well, they were going through this when they came up with this conclusion that ruined things. And if you can't do that, maybe you just wish them well. And if you can't do that, then maybe you just you leave them in peace. And if you can't do that, you do this other thing, right? And if you can't do that, you do this other thing. So the idea is there's the absolute ideal, but some people aren't in the place where they can do that. And you got to try to meet people where you are. And I'm going to make my point, but I know I'm taking a minute or two to do it.
You're taking a detour.
So let's look at it instead of forgiving somebody else completely. Let's look at it like we're forgiving ourselves. So we're forgiving ourselves for telling these horrible stories to ourselves about nobody loves us. Everybody just moves on from us immediately, and they don't care or think about us at all.
All right.
And we're trying to forgive ourselves for thinking that way. But we can't because we're human. So instead we try to have compassion for ourselves. And maybe we have trouble doing that. So maybe we just try to realize, where are we when we came up with these stories? Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering from you, what does self-forgiveness for self-sabotage look like in your life?
I don't understand the question. What do you mean?
So self-sabotage, I think in this scenario, is telling ourselves negative stories. Right? About how other people perceive us. How does self-forgiveness work for you in that situation? How do you forgive yourself for telling yourself these negative stories?
I have to say that is an area that is very, very hard for me to do that. It's one thing if I'm forgiving somebody and moving on either without reconciliation or with reconciliation. But it's another thing to learn how to forgive myself. And I believe that there are things that I have forgiven myself for, but it's tough. It is. It's tough.
And you don't necessarily have to come up with an answer right now, because I don't have one. But it's a good thing to maybe think about and spend some time with.
Yeah, it is tough. But I also know that I don't have to handle it alone either.
Nice.
And I don't have to carry that burden all the time. It's like I'm carrying pounds and pounds of whatever it is.
Yes.
I don't need to carry that with me all the time. I don't have to carry that shame all the time.
Okay, so there's self-forgiveness.
Yeah.
And there's also rewriting the story. Mm-hmm. Because the story is going to keep coming back up, right? The story of this person abandoned me or this person never cared.
Yeah.
How should we rewrite the story?
You mean like think of it differently?
Yeah. How do we think of the story differently?
Well,
on a consistent basis.
So, okay. I guess this could be a conversation of how do we make ourselves better or make ourselves bitter? Mm-hmm. And I believe it's better to learn from a situation like this instead of thinking, oh, this person did me wrong and I'm going to carry this bitterness and it's going to slowly kill me. And some people have a hard time with that, with letting go of that bitterness and not trying to improve the way that you handle things like that. I don't know. I guess just to learn from situations, because I've had many people do me wrong, and I'm sure you have yourself.
Yeah.
But learning how to, what can I learn for the next time I meet someone that's similar to this person? How can I learn from this lesson? Do I reconcile with that other person that did me wrong and learn to move on from it? Or do I not reconcile and move on and learn how to be better with another circumstance that comes along that's similar to that? Or a better interacting with a person that is like that one person who did me wrong. I don't know.
Let me try to rephrase the question a little bit.
Okay.
When you're by yourself at night,
yeah,
and maybe this doesn't happen to you, but it happens to me. So this could be self-projection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you start to think about things like everybody is so connected to the world except for me. I'm the only one I know who's completely disconnected from the world, who nobody in the world loves.
And I don't think that way, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do, and I recognize that it's a lot of fiction is in that story.
Yeah.
Right. But so you don't have that story, but maybe you have similar stories, right?
I think about the people that have done me wrong. Like, how could they do this to me? I've always been nice to this person. How could they double cross me? Whatever.
Okay. So let's take that. Let's say Alana's in bed by herself. It's late at night and she starts thinking about somebody who did her wrong.
Right.
And how could they do this to me? And I was so nice.
Are you talking in third person?
I'm talking about you, babes.
Yes, I know.
So how do we rewrite that story so you don't spiral out of control? Or do we need to?
Well, I also have to think about, I guess what I think about is, why do I keep holding on to this thing? Why do I keep going back to the story? Because I can't forget it. Mm-hmm. I understand that there are things that I just cannot forget. But how can I move on from this thing? How can I forgive this person, officially forgive this person? And yes, a lot of these people that have done me wrong, I have given them already. But how can I go back and think about this experience without feeling like, oh, I'm so mad at this person, or feeling some resentment even after years and years and years of that? How can I let this go? Because it's not useful to think about it anymore. It's not useful to think about relationships that ended because of the other person, not me. It's not helpful to think about people that have double-crossed me or tried to ruin me or whatever it is. It's not helpful.
Oh.
So sometimes I think about, why am I holding on to this? This is ridiculous. That happened years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And I guess sometimes I think, realizing that I cannot forget these experiences, they taught me something. And I can't forget them, but I am going to move on from it. And even if I think about it again, I won't. I'll do better at not dwelling on it so much.
I think one thing I've learned over the decades is I shouldn't do absolutes as far as storytelling. And with that, and in the context of this, what I mean is I have an epiphany and I realize that somebody wasn't trying to ruin my life. They were just in a bad situation. And I'll say to myself, now I've realized this and now the story has changed forever. Right. So that's like an absolute saying. The story has completely changed. It's never going back to that, which is very good in movies and on paper and when you're talking to a crowd of little kids. But the reality is we also have our moments to where we begin to spin, or at least I do. And the story reverts back to its original form for a little while. So instead, what I try to say is I have an epiphany. I really hope I don't forget it. And I'm not saying that I won't go revert to looking at the story that I tell myself in a negative light again. But what I am trying to say is maybe I won't last so long in the negativity next time.
Well, I was listening to a program with a Christian counselor, actually, and she was discussing about how Christians are, some Christians are taught that you're not going to go through trials and tribulations, and that's totally false. And she also said that these problems are going to come up again and again and again. But the thing is to learn how to face them and not push them aside. Because if you don't face them and expose them, they're never going to be solved. At least that's what I think she's saying. And they're not going to go away. They may never go away permanently, but the trick is to, if they ever come up again, is to learn how to deal with them in a healthy way. And, think about how do you react to these things. And it also can manifest physically, like, for people that have like PTSD or panic attacks.
Yep.
She talked about panic attacks. Like that one day that we went to that ice cream to Ben and Jerry's. And I honestly think I honestly think that I did have a panic attack.
Oh, I remember that day.
That was not fun.
Yes.
And I didn't want to say it because I didn't want anyone to freak out. And what I should have done was I should have said, I really don't feel good. I need to go inside.
Oh.
But I didn't even know what that was.
Yes.
And so I couldn't really voice it. And instead of giving you my ice cream cone, which I shouldn't have done, but you seemed to be okay with it.
Yeah, even though I was eating mine, you were like, yo, Bob.
And I just didn't know what to do. And I just met your friend and I'm just like, well, how am I gonna, I didn't want to freak you out because would you have freaked out if I said something like, I'm having a panic attack, I think I should go inside?
I don't know. You could have just said, hey, I'm going to go inside and,
I should have, but I didn't even know what was going on with me.
Yes.
Until I realized, wait a minute, I was having some kind of a physiological thing.
And I've had those too. I mean, maybe I don't call it a panic attacks, but there's definitely been moments to where I start to spin out in my head. Mm-hmm. And the important thing is for me, what I try to do then, if at all possible, and if I'm been in a good state of mind leading up to that, it's easier. It's to just say, okay, let's stop, take a couple of deep breaths, relax, and just get through the situation. Yeah,
that does help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and she was explaining that she had a panic attack, a couple years after she had a very, very traumatic miscarriage. Because
her husband ate the leftovers.
No.
Sorry, go ahead.
Listen.
All right. Stop. Go ahead.
Okay, then listen.
Go ahead.
No, what happened is she didn't know she was having a miscarriage until she started, the doctor told her that she was hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
And she started feeling hot. And she's like, I need a drink. Can I have a drink? And it happened, that came up again, like a couple years later when she, I think it was like a few years later, she was on this trip with her kids and she started feeling the same way. And that's how I felt when I was in a very windy area.
Yeah.
And I think I may have felt a little twinge of that when, remember when the bridge was open, the bridge was coming down.
Oh, when we were walking over Hawthorne?
Yes, it was coming down and I dropped my cane and I think I dropped it because I might have been having a little bit of a panic attack. But that didn't really come to a head until that ice cream thing.
Yes.
Anyway, so she was feeling that and she said, well, now it's not the emotional side, it's the physical side of it. And that, know that it's a normal thing that happens to people when they're going through some kind of PTSD. So I thought, okay, that's really encouraging, because now my body is going through that. When I was sick and it was a windy area, it wasn't the wind that was the problem. It's that when it was windy, I wasn't able to breathe because my air was being restricted by the tumor.
When you had cancer.
Yes.
Yes.
And it wasn't the wind that was the problem, it was how I felt when it was going on.
Yep.
And so now that manifested into that panic attack. And so I'm like, okay, I feel better knowing that she went through something like that, even if it was different.
Yes.
And so I could better handle it now.
Nice.
Not completely, but I think little by little.
Well, good.
Little by little until I can handle it again.
We tell ourselves so many different stories, babes.
We do, but I think the trick is to, well, how are we going to react to it? And how are we going to choose to react to it, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tony Robbins talks a lot about this, as do many other people.
My solution to this at the time was, like, if I know that I'm going to go into cold wind, I just pray before I go, because it helps a lot. It really does, because then I can handle it. And I just think to myself, it's just wind. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to be windy, but it's not going to hurt you. You're not going to be swept away. You're going to be breathing. And if you do have a panic attack, it won't last for long. And just don't focus on it. I mean, I tell myself a lot of things before it happens.
Everybody needs to do something. I don't know if they need to do something, but it could benefit their lives if they try to look at things. Oddly enough, we're going back to triggers, right? Mm-hmm. But if we look at things that trigger us and try to realize that, what's behind this, let's examine this a little bit more.
Yeah. So, and I've told people too. I've told a couple people in my family, so I feel better that they know. And I wanted to bring that up because now I don't feel so weird about talking about my panic attack.
Yeah. It's weird for me. Growing up, I felt like I couldn't express myself. Like I couldn't just have an honest conversation about this is what I'm going through without being judged. Mm-hmm. And as a result, that drove me to the performing arts. Mm-hmm. And it's great because in most other aspects of your life, if you talk about how shitty you feel, at least this was my perception, you were going to be judged for it. But if you do it on stage and do it like a poem,
it doesn't seem so bad.
You're going to get, if you do it well enough, you're going to get applause. But in some ways you learn the wrong lesson, because instead of learning to communicate like an actual human being, you're learning to, what you're saying is true, but you're hiding behind the idea of, I'm just an artist. This is just a piece of art. This doesn't necessarily reflect how I feel, right? So it's a different form of hiding. The emotion behind it is true, but the excuse you use to release it's kind of a lie. You're not really dealing with things in a healthy way if you're just going through the art. Right. And using that as, this is just my art. It's not how I really feel.
Yeah. Yeah, but hearing that woman talk about, therapists go through that too. Mm-hmm. They're not immune to panic attacks and depression and things like that. Did I even tell you about some panic attacks that I used to have? And they weren't like as bad as the wind thing when it happened to me. But when I would drink something, and it doesn't even matter if it was water or not. Mm-hmm. There are times where I felt like I was drowning.
You did mention that.
Did I mention that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and it's gotten better. It's gotten much better. And I just had to, and what I've done was just to drink things slowly and not to rush and try to guzzle stuff down.
Yes.
Because when I didn't know I was sick, I noticed that I couldn't drink things straight. And that was another thing I was going through too.
Oh.
But it's gotten much better.
Yes.
And I think these panic attacks do get better with time. I would hope that they do.
If you look at the situation and try to examine what's behind them.
Yeah, but I think I know what it is. Mm-hmm. And that's that means that I'm on the right track to recovery.
Very good. And again, I don't know what does recovery look like. Because again, when I was, let's say 20, I would speak in absolutes and I would say if I had a breakthrough, okay, that's recovery. It's never happening again. And then I would fall even more off the mental wagon when something bad would trigger a similar response because I had told myself this was never happening again. So is recovery, you never experience it, or is recovery just mean you experience it less and you know how to control it better? And I think that's what true recovery is you live with it and it still comes up, but it doesn't come up as strongly as it used to.
I do believe that you can be completely healed from it.
Mm.
And sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes you end up living with it, but I do think that you can be completely healed of it. How long it takes, I have no idea.
Nice.
And I think about like how long it took for that to happen, that huge panic attack, and it took like 11 years for this to happen.
Yeah.
So it could be as quickly as 2 years or even a year afterwards or 11 years like it happened to me. But I do believe that there is such thing as complete healing.
Nice, babes.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Good. It's a pretty deep conversation so far.
That's right there, Jaylo.
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad we got that off our chests.
I know. I feel better.
I do too.
I feel better. Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna say this.
Uh-oh.
I love doing poetry, as you know.
Yeah.
But part of me is wondering, with the pandemic, with how crazy things have been, if I can ever go back to really doing live performances again.
I'd like to think that eventually we would be able to do that, because this, and we talked about this ad nauseum.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about it the other day. I think something has to give, and eventually we will have to face each other.
Well, there's that, but then there's also the aspect of what is poetry, what do they look like in a post-pandemic world? Does that mean people are more honest in real life? Or does that mean that every poetry reading, they're going to say, hey, we just want people to know that there's a trigger warning here, just give us a trigger warning, or we're open to talk about everything except for these 10 subjects.
I would hope that people are a lot more honest.
Yeah. In some ways, here's what I hope comes out of the pandemic, but I'm not really seeing, is that I hope people use it as, I never wanted the pandemic. And I never wanted society. But I think that there's one good thing that could come out. There are a few good things, but a major good thing that could come out of it is maybe people use it as an excuse to be more real with themselves and the people around them.
Right.
And I think if that's what happens, that's great.
I hope so.
But in some ways, I feel society has become even more fake.
Well, has it become even more fake, or is it that the people that are behind it are not being real with themselves and they want everybody else to be fake?
You mean the people who actually run society?
The people who are pushing this fakeness, yes.
That's a good point.
Because I think most people want to be real with people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that everybody wants to have this fake facade like, oh, we gotta protect everybody. I think it's ridiculous. That's insane, right? We can't live like that. And I think most people in our society are just so tired of it that it's like, oh, well, I'd like to give these people a piece of my mind. You know, it's like, I would hope that you're right and people are a lot more honest with themselves and each other. And that they would be a lot more loving and compassionate towards people that they haven't seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were all going through this horrible year and a half. And yeah, it was horrible, but there were things that came out of it that was really good. I'm not going to say it's all bad. But I hope that people are a lot more braver, a lot more stronger, and a lot more real.
It's easy to say you want to be an authentic person, but it's a lot harder to do the work. And I hope that people actually become more authentic.
It's harder to do the work, but I think it's I think that makes it even more important.
Yes.
Right?
I would say so.
It makes it even more important. And I hope that people are more authentic with themselves and other people.
Well, good.
Yes. So I agree with you on that.
Thank you there, Jaylo.
That's right.
Yes. Babes.
Yes.
You have finished watching season 2 of The Boys.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, I would be happy with it ending there because it had a very interesting ending.
It did, but I'm also super curious to see what season 3 is like.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I just burped.
Yeah, I know. You do that all the time.
Oh. Do you want me to give a brief recap of the last 2 episodes?
Yes, because this is probably the most action-packed episode I've seen, and I'm glad that there are people that actually went down. But go on.
We watched 2 episodes yesterday, and I'm not going to cover everything in them. And I might get something wrong of when it was in an episode, because I'm going to treat it like a recap of one big episode.
That's fine.
Okay. So we start off, this guy gets up in the morning and hears how there's superhero terrorists that could be invading the country. And Vought is spreading this propaganda. Mm-hmm. He listens to talk radio where they're discussing this. He watches videos of Stormfront discussing the same issue. And there's a convenience store that he goes to every single morning. Mm-hmm. This process goes on for we don't know how long. And one day he comes to the conclusion that the clerk at the convenience store is a superhero terrorist with no proof. He pulls out a gun and he's like, if I shoot you, you're not even going to bleed. And he kills the guy and runs away.
And so that's the guy that comes, the clerk was the one that said, oh, please, I have a family.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the guy just shoots him and he realizes immediately, I was wrong about this.
Yeah, I was wrong.
And it's a small part, but it goes into something interesting about propaganda, right? So they have Lamplighter, and he's agreed to testify in front of Congress. Mm-hmm. But Frenchie, and Kimiko got to do something, and Butcher has to go check on his mom because he was told that his dad passed away. They leave Huey in charge of him. And Lamplighter just wants to watch erotic movies that were inspired by the Seven.
What a weirdo.
I know. Let me start with Butcher's arc.
Yeah, because that one was interesting.
He goes to see his mom, and he finds out that she lied about his dad dying. The dad does have cancer, but he's not dead yet. And we discover in their exchange that Butcher and his brother were beaten as kids. Mm-hmm. His brother Lenny ended up killing himself. Mm-hmm. Butcher almost kills his dad right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Until the mom
I thought he was going to.
Which is honest to me.
Yeah. I thought he was going to. Mm-hmm. Either that or his dad would have had enough strength to kill him. I don't know.
No, because his dad's dying.
Oh, right. Yeah. I know. I understand that.
Yeah. And so he goes off to a bar, does his thing. We go back to Lamplighter and Huey. Mm-hmm. And Huey discovers from watching the news that Starlight is considered a criminal and is being held inside Vought. Right? So Lamplighter used to be a member of the Seven. He decides that they're going to go and break into Vought and get Starlight free. Mm-hmm. They get into Vought, and Lamplighter used his hand as identification. Then he decides to kill himself, which sets off the fire alarm. Mm-hmm. Huey has to break off the hand of Lamplighter in order for them to get out of there.
Wow.
Goes to rescue Annie's mom, who's just like, is that a hand you have?
He's like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, like, come on. And I was thinking about this, and I'm like, well, you know what? If Frenchie was there, he could have opened the guy's hand.
Right.
And gotten the identification.
But Frenchie was
But he wasn't there. Yeah.
Yep.
He had to do what he had to do.
So they go. And meanwhile, while all this is going on with Huey, goes with Mallory to Jonah, the scientist.
Jonah, yeah.
who played the boss on The Wire.
Yeah.
Or one of the higher ups at the police station.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get to that show when we do. Get there in 2022 sometime, hopefully. Assuming we're both still alive there. Jaylo.
Oh my goodness.
And they talk to him and he says, listen, I can't testify against Vought because I have a family to protect.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy Butcher goes there and he says, hey, you're going to testify against Vought. And if you don't, I'm going to kill your daughter and I'm going to find out where your sons live. And everybody in your family dies today. So the choice is yours. Mm-hmm. Which gets him to like, oh, okay.
All right, I'll
do it.
Yeah.
They have the hearings, which Homelander has to go to. Well, before we get to the hearings, let's talk about Homelander in this a little bit. They're giving a speech, him and Starlight, and it's a cool event. And afterwards they're talking, and it's him and Stormfront, I'm sorry. After the event, Stormfront sees somebody with a baby, and she says, oh, that makes me think of my daughter who's passed away.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah.
Homelander's like, well, I have a son. Let's go and hang out with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So they fly into the place like they own it.
Yeah.
Becca is not very happy. And they just start contradicting her parentage.
Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, this is my girlfriend Stormfront. Like, oh yeah, I mean, matter of factly, this is my girlfriend Stormfront, and I think you should hang out with her. Yeah.
Ryan is showing them some claymation he's made.
Yeah.
And Stormfront is like, well, you into any other little things that kids like Vought, and have you seen any of your dad's movies? And he's like, I didn't know my dad
real like propaganda stuff. Like,
right.
Yeah. You want to go to Vaughtland?
Becca says, well, I don't know if you're old enough to watch those films. And Homelander says, oh yeah, they're PG-13. We think you're old enough. They're PG. You're old enough to watch that stuff.
Right.
Now, I don't want to defend Homelander too much.
Yeah.
But there is a great scene in this episode where he's talking to Becca outside the home, and he basically says, you're lying to him by making this fake little world. And I should know because I was raised like this.
Right.
I didn't completely agree with Homelander, but he did make some good points. Right? Okay. So that's their story, and they take Ryan to see that he's in this fake community. He gets mad at the mom and leaves with Stormfront and Homelander.
Yep, they fly off with him.
Queen Maeve is going through her own thing. Elena is freaked out by the video of the plane.
And who wouldn't be?
She leaves after Maeve throws the table. And Maeve just starts sleeping with guys. Ashley walks in and is like, we got to get Elena back. You're America's second favorite lesbian couple.
Oh, jeez. I did like when Queen Maeve said, Ashley, be human for once.
Yes.
Because she all she was really thinking about is promoting Vought and nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Your buddy A-Train.
He's not my buddy. I don't like him.
Joins. I don't remember what the church's name is, but it's basically a ripoff of the Church of Scientology.
It's the Church of the Collective.
The Church of the Collective.
Yeah, which is really weird.
Yeah, and it's a complete diss on Scientology.
Yes.
Right. He joins it, and he's happy, and the leader says, we're going to get both of you back into the Seven. I have a meeting with Mr. Edgar next week, right? So the guy goes and he offers him a Fresca, of course.
Yeah, of course.
He goes to the meeting and also offers a Fresca to Mr. Edgar.
Yes.
This group is obsessed with Fresca.
I know. At least have 7-Up. I mean, I think 7-Up is better, but.
Yeah. They're talking, and Mr. Edgar says, we want the Deep to come back to Vought. The leader's like, well, cool. What about A-Train? And it's like, A-Train is a has-been. We can have one has-been back in the Seven because that's a redemption story. 2 has-beens will make us look like we're weak. And he says, and, Stormfront also has some problems with A-Train. And I think we know what that's about.
Yeah.
So what you can't see is Mr. Edgar, I believe, is Hispanic. Which makes him, and that's only important because it makes him defending Stormfront a little bit more like creepy in a way.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because
really?
he knows that she's a white supremacist, but he's defending her for the money.
Oh, wow! I didn't know that he was. Huh.
Yeah. What they don't know is A-Train is in the other room listening in on this. He steals a file on Stormfront.
And he gives it to Huey and Starlight.
Before that, however, they have the meeting in Congress. Your man Jonah comes in, the scientist, but his head explodes. A bunch of heads start exploding.
And I think the judges, right?
Something like that. Congress doesn't really have a judge, but I hear what you're saying.
Or I think it sounded like they were having
the person
some kind of
presiding over the hearing.
The hearing, yeah. They're having a hearing.
Yeah. So even people at VOD are freaked out by this.
Yeah.
Because as crazy as they are, they didn't even plan this.
Right.
And the crew decides that they're just going to go and kill every superhero. But Starlight says, hey, give us, like, the day to find an alternative.
Yeah.
They try to talk to Maeve. Maeve blows off Huey, which I love. I just thought that was so great.
Yeah.
But before then, in the car, Starlight's like, why the Billy Joel music all the time?
Yeah,
You're not
why?
a 57-year-old man.
Yeah, why do you like Billy Joel? And I like Billy Joel, too, but I don't listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
And he explained about his mom leaving.
When he was 6.
And they used to listen to Billy Joel music and dance around. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're despondent until A-Train comes into the car and says, okay, we're even now. Here's a file on Stormfront. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, Butcher and them have some information. Now, meanwhile, Stormfront is doing her thing, and her and Homelander decide to take Ryan to Planet Vought for lunch.
Like Planet Hollywood, yeah.
I think it's called, is it Planet Vought or Vaughtlands?
Planet Vought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really funny.
And of course, people recognize them, so Ryan
he's freaking out.
Gets freaked out. So they take him to this cabin in the woods. Mm-hmm. Homelander doesn't know what to do, but then he goes in and he makes actually a really good speech about how when he was a kid, he used to be really scared and he didn't know how to deal with things, and he'll always love Ryan. I do like that speech.
I did too, and he said, when I kind of thought it was interesting when he said, and whenever you feel like that, maybe you'll be able to fly off.
Something to that effect.
And you can fly off with me.
Meanwhile, Becca sneaks out of the holding facility and goes to Butcher and says, I need you to help me get Ryan back.
They took Ryan, yeah.
He goes to see Mr. Edgar and says, you have a problem. I can help you get Ryan, but I want you to separate him from Becca so I can have her. And he says, how could you let that racist bitch into the 7? Mr. Edgar basically explains, well, it's about business. People like Stormfront because he's honest, right? He goes off, gets the crew. They go to get Ryan. While this is going on, the press gets notified about Stormfront's Nazi past.
Yep.
Okay. They are trying to leave. Your girl Stormfront comes in with Homelander. He kills the security detail that Vought sent to separate Ryan and Becca. Mm-hmm. And Butcher confesses the truth to her, but she wants to stay with him. Mm-hmm. Stormfront lands. She starts throwing stuff. MM says, we'll cover for you. Get out of here. Mm-hmm. They run. Queen Maeve lands. And at one point, Maeve, Kamiko, and Starlight are fighting Stormfront, but she's really strong.
Yep.
She breaks free, goes after Butcher, Ryan, and Becca. Mm-hmm. Becca, I think, slams a knife through Stormfront's eye. Mm-hmm. And is attacking. It gets attacked by Stormfront. Stormfront almost kills her, but then Ryan releases this, like, really weird thing from his eyes, like a wave almost, and it knocks everybody out. And Becca is dying now, and she tells Butcher, take care of Ryan, make sure that he knows this isn't his fault. Mm-hmm. Then she dies, and Ryan's crying.
And Ryan's really upset because he just lost his mom.
Yep.
Becca dies in Butcher's arms, and
Butcher gives her one last kiss.
Yeah.
And we see that Stormfront ain't doing too well either.
And she's speaking in German. We don't know what she said.
But it's probably something super racist.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yes. Homelander lands, and you get the sense that he's going to do some damage.
Mm-hmm.
But then Queen Maeve comes in with the cell phone with the footage from the plane crash and says, hey, if you go after them, I'm releasing this footage to CNN, and everybody's going to know what an asshole you are. So Butcher picks up Ryan, and they walk away.
And he is then transferred into a van.
Before that,
though. Yeah.
They're sitting by this lake, and he says, Ryan's like, I'm scared. I don't know what's going to go on. And we find out that either Butcher or Becca were Catholic, because he's like, I have this necklace, and it's of Saint Christopher. Your mom gave this to me years ago and said it would keep me safe, and it always has. So he takes it off of his own neck and puts it on Ryan. Grace Mallory comes to take Ryan away, and Butcher says, no, remember what I told you. And Ryan says, don't be a cunt. And then he gets in the van, and Grace is like, do you think he's going to be all right, or is he going to turn out like his father? And Butcher's like, well, Becca thought he would be okay. Grace explains, you're off the hook. You've been absolved of all the crimes, even the ones you actually committed, which I love. And she's like, and I think I can get you some funding to actually be a watchdog group against Bob, but it's off the record. Butcher walks away.
Mm-hmm.
We start hearing the Beach Boys, God only knows what I dream about you.
Which you actually got the lyric wrong again, but that's okay.
Oh, would I be without you?
Would I be without you?
Oh, but before then, Deep finds out that A-Train's getting back into the 7, but he's not.
Yeah, he's very upset, and he leaves the church.
Yeah, and this Fresca.
Yeah, it is Fresca.
Kamiko and Frenchie dance.
Mm-hmm.
MM is reunited with his family. Then we hear the church on the phone with some lady, and they're talking about, the future and all that stuff. His head explodes. We find out it's from her. She pretends to be a good guy, though. Nobody knows that she has this power. And she goes in her office where she's meeting with Huey, and he says, I'm going to leave my team behind, and I want to fight the bad guys, but I want to do it with you. And that's basically where the season ends.
Yes.
I thought the last 2 episodes were incredible. What were your thoughts on them?
I did, because I felt like, I liked them because I felt like, things were coming to a head, and I had a feeling that Stormfront wasn't going to get away with what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought, though, that Homelander was going to be killed off or something. I was hoping that they would both be killed off, but it didn't happen. So, but I'm glad that Stormfront was, because nobody wanted her around.
There's a great scene that I didn't mention, and it's after all the death and destruction when Becca died. There's a press conference, and Homelander goes on stage and basically says that Maeve and Starlight are his 2 best friends in the world.
Yeah. Adding insult to injury.
Yeah. I'm curious, what does The Boys teach us about celebrity friendships and how fake they are?
You just don't know what happens behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. They could be friends in real life, but they could be complete enemies in real life. And you just don't know. What
does the series also teach us about how we perceive heroes in this country and what we should really think of the good guys?
Well, sometimes we may have it correct, and some people that are in power are bad, just like some people could be in power and we could think less of them, but they're not really bad. Mm-hmm. So it could go either way.
All right, let's get on to a touchy subject.
Oh. There's
one point in the episode where things are about to go down between Starlight and Stormfront. Mm-hmm. And Stormfront basically says, people don't like the word Nazi, but they like my philosophy. They just have a problem with the word.
Right.
In the real world, do you think that's true?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I think that, I don't think so. I think most people in their right mind would not.
So it's not just that you could reword.
No.
Okay.
No, because of what happened with the Holocaust and what a horrible tragedy that was.
Yeah.
And that was going on what happened with Anne Frank, and the Jews that went to Auschwitz, and the people that have survived Auschwitz. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And I think people in their right mind would not support Nazis.
Well, even if they did it under a different name. Mm-hmm. And instead of calling them Jews, they say our enemies are the other. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you don't feel that way.
No. No, I think most people that actually wanted to protect their fellow man would not support Nazism.
I want to say something, and I'm not sure how well it's going to go over.
Okay.
I think something tells me this isn't going to go over well. I think of Stormfront as being the Fox News of The Boys. Now, let me give a few examples. So I'm not just saying this, right? One, CNN is the one who takes her down, right? It's not Fox, but also the perception I have is that Fox News thinks that there is a war on white men specifically. And there is an interesting scene in this episode, I think it's the last one, where Ryan says he doesn't want to hurt anybody because Homelander is trying to see if he could use his power to destroy a small, soldier, like a kid, a 2-inch soldier thing that kids have.
Yeah.
And your girl, Stormfront, bends down and is like, oh, sweetie, that's very nice that you care about people. But there are some people out there who want to kill us just based on our skin color.
Now, here's what I think about that.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to blame Fox. I think there are people that I still like that are still at Fox that I think should leave.
Okay.
I think that Fox's entire network has gone downhill very, very quickly. But that's besides the point. I think she was trying to use that to promote her Nazism. Not that she cares about white people.
Okay.
But that she wants to use it to go against every race except for white people. I don't think she really cares for white people.
See, and I thought Nazism was about protecting the purity of whiteness.
Well, yeah, it is, but I mean, I think she's using that to promote Nazism.
Okay.
I don't think she's using that because she cares. I don't think she's saying it because she cares about racism. That racism is, I'm sorry, that she wants to go against racism because she's a racist anyway.
Okay.
I think she's using it to promote the purity of whiteness. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm totally against that.
So you don't think that she's saying that people of other races hate white people as much as she's saying it to protect, as trying to talk about how great white people are.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
Exactly. That's why I thought it was interesting that she would say that. I think she's using it to say, "Hey, I'm not against. I think she's using it to basically say in her own way, actually, I'm not against racism. I'm racist myself."
Yeah. Okay, so now here's an interesting take that I have on, let's talk about Stormfront and politics a little bit more, but it's easy to say Donald Trump is Stormfront, but it's not necessarily true. But let's talk about some comparisons. We're going to start off with Trump, but we're going to move off of him kind of quickly. A lot of people like Trump because they say he says it like it is, right? Which I don't think is true, but I know a lot of people say that, including you. And a lot of people like somebody from the left, like let's say AOC, because they say that she says it like it is. I think that there's some issues with both of those statements, but in the show, people like Stormfront because she says it like it is. But it's a skewed version of the truth. So
exactly.
I think you could say, I think a question would be, what does Stormfront teach us about our political landscape and how we view what we perceive to be as somebody who's an outsider to the establishment?
Well, there are outsiders to the establishment, and not just one, that are actually wanting to do the will of the people. But there are, of course, are outsiders to the establishment that have their own agenda in mind and they don't want to do that. But then my question would be, because I believe that Stormfront was using patriotism to promote what she really wanted to promote.
Yeah.
To promote Hitlerism.
Yeah.
And that in itself is why she's so evil. Because she's using that, even when she was doing that press conference with Homelander and making it sound like this is, we're for America and God bless America and we want to stand with the, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Right. But in actuality, she was hiding behind that facade, just like Homelander is.
Yeah.
And they're profiting off of real patriotism to dupe the city into thinking that they're actually good.
This is going to sound like a weird statement.
Okay.
But hold. So I see Stormfront as like their version of Trump, but I see Homelander as their version of Obama.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, because I see, Stormfront to me represents the Republican Party, and I know that you could take some issues with that because she's promoting Nazism. Uh-huh. But I see Homelander as like a Democrat who pretends that he's against all this stuff that somebody like Stormfront represents, and meanwhile is evil and is part of the machine as well.
Huh.
So
okay.
I kind of see them as commentary on our political system, but there's two different sides of the coin, but they're both on the coin though. If that makes any sense.
They're not on the coin. They're extreme.
They're extremes. Yeah. They're extremes
so
of both political parties.
Huh. I guess in some ways I could kind of agree with that, but not quite.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I kind of understand where you're trying to get at, even if you used other people in that. I kind of understand that.
To me, Stormfront is Trump and Homelander is Obama.
I don't see her as Trump. I see her as somebody else, but I see her as Biden, actually. Except for the fact that she actually knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, I was just going to say, she knows where she's at half the time, which is more than you could say for Biden.
Yeah, but Biden, anyway, I could go on.
And Stormfront actually does stuff, whether you like it or not. Biden's just sort of there and,
Well, I think when he was more alert, in his younger days, he did more stuff.
Yeah.
But that was younger Stormfront.
Yeah. But like, let's look at more of a comparison between Homelander and Obama. Uh-huh. Homelander's big thing is you guys are the real heroes. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've ever listened to the acceptance speech that Obama gave in 2008.
I believe I did.
The one at Grant Park after it was declared that he was the president-elect. And he said, what people didn't realize about my campaign is it was never about me. It was about you. And it sounds great when you first hear it, and I thought it sounded great. But what you realize as you look at his what he did in the White House is that was something to placate the people. It was always about him and what he could do for himself. Just like Homelander always saw himself as a hero and never saw it about the people. I
will agree with you on that because a lot of people thought that he was campaigning against everything that the Democrats stood for.
Well, and what the Republicans stood for, too. And
hold on. I wasn't finished because you interrupted me.
Go ahead.
All I'm going to say is I will agree that he campaigned on something different.
Yeah.
And then when he got into office, he went exactly the opposite of what he said.
Yeah, he wasn't hoping change at all.
No, it wasn't at all. Not at all. That whole campaign was a complete sham.
But just like he said, it wasn't, my campaign wasn't about me, it was about you, and he was lying. Homelander says the constant line in the show, you are the real heroes.
And it's so condescending.
And we know that he believes that he's the real hero.
Exactly.
So I don't know, that stuff is interesting to me.
It is. It is.
Let's get off of politics.
Thank you.
And the boy. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What do you think of Butcher? A lot of people say that he's the true villain of the boys.
Okay. I don't know that maybe if I knew more about the comic book itself, I probably might think that. But, and I still don't like him, but I can feel compassion for him. Just like I can feel a little bit of compassion for Homelander. Even if I don't like them anyway. Butcher was a very, very angry person. And I think it came to a head when something happened to Becca. When Homelander did what he did to Becca.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like the only person he really loved was Becca. That was his chance at really loving somebody. And he... and remember when we find out that Lenny was the one that could really control him. He loved Lenny first, but Lenny killed himself. First, and he killed himself. And it maybe it's because a lot of things that Butcher has touched, they've gone away. They've either died or they left him. Becca dies in his arms. Lenny kills himself. His mother lies about his father dying. And maybe, because remember when she made that speech, like, I thought maybe that this would, get you to reconcile because I don't want you to be like your father or whatever was it his father? Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't quite get what she said, but it kind of makes me think, well, maybe this time you're going to wake up and realize that what you're doing is you're spiraling out of control. And now you can't control it. Now you just want to kill people, but Vought's gonna create more soups to try to kill you. So, and I think was it Huey that made that statement? Like he's right, or no, it was Starlight. I think if we kill people, they're only gonna become soups. Was it her or was it Huey? I don't remember. I forgot. Anyway. But I kind of understood where his mom was coming from. Because she said, it's not too late. Basically, I thought maybe you would change because if I told you your father is dead, then you wouldn't have shown up. You wouldn't have shown up. Or whatever. Or if I told you that he was alive, you wouldn't have shown up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think his mom was trying. What did you think of that scene at the end? I know you're not a Catholic, and neither am I. But it is kind of a touching thing where he gives a speech about Becca to Ryan, and then he gives her the necklace of St. Christopher. His heart was in the right place, even if you disagree with his religious views. Right. I thought that was a touching scene. I thought it was touching, even if you didn't believe it. Even if he did this because of Becca, and maybe he didn't believe what Becca told him. That, this necklace is going to keep you safe. Yeah. Like rosary beads. But I think it was a touching scene. That maybe Ryan would find solace in knowing that even if the necklace was not really going to protect him, his mom, knowing that his mom really loved him was going to, that he was going to be okay. Here's something. Yeah. At the end of season 1, Homelander said that he didn't rape Becca. Yeah. And Becca says that she was raped by Homelander. Yes. So I believe that Becca was raped by Homelander. Yes. But I don't think that Homelander thought that he was raping Becca. No, obviously not. And so you feel the same way about that? Yes. Okay. Yes, I do. Well, here's something I thought about that because he basically said that she had orgasms a lot. Yeah. Okay. So I was watching something on Law and Order SVU, and it brings up this episode where this one girl was raped by several men, but she physically had a reaction, even if she didn't want it. And Olivia Benson, I think she was a sergeant at the time, either sergeant or detective. I forgot what it was, but she said, "No, just because you physically had that reaction, that doesn't make it right. That just means that you physically had the reaction even if you didn't want it." And I thought that was kind of interesting. Because a lot of men would say, well, she wanted it. She was the one who felt it. She was the one who had that reaction. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it was okay and that she was a willing participant. Yes. And I'm glad that she said that to her.
Yes.
And I honestly believe that she wasn't a willing participant, but because Homelander is so disconnected, right?
He didn't see it as right.
He didn't see it like that.
Yeah.
He just thought, oh, I'm just getting what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what she wants. I don't care what she thinks or feels. It's just me now.
Now, Starlight questions her faith, but eventually at the end of the episode comes back to God. How did you feel about that? Because I did lie to you and say that Starlight never questioned her faith in the show. Because I don't know why I said that, but I just...
Well, I think that, the word would be that there was, the subject of redemption. Because she said, well, if Butcher could do the right thing, then there has to be a higher power. Even if she didn't say God, I honestly think that she felt that Butcher could be redeemed at that point. Because even though he did some horrible things, he was willing to protect an innocent child, even if Becca wasn't around. Mm-hmm. And that he wasn't going to kill. And I thought he was going to kill him. But that also means to me, and I've heard people say this, that Christians do go through times of doubt. And that to say that a Christian never doubts is completely wrong. And the fact that she doubted her faith at one time really shows that she's a human being. Not just a superhero.
Yes.
But she's just as flawed and she's just as human as everybody else.
What do you think of Queen Maeve?
I think you're right. I think she's very complicated. But I think when she's in her own mess, she doesn't want to think of anybody else at the time. Mm-hmm. But if you really do need her, she will come through.
I'd say that's a good assessment of it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that she really does have a heart. And she really wants to do the right thing, but she's also very, very torn.
I like Maeve a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she takes a little while for you to grow on her. Or for her to grow on you, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to like her in the first couple episodes, but once you sort of see, oh, she's just a person like everybody else, then you can sort of like let her in a little bit.
And you know what? I can't be mad at Starlight's mom. Also.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, she probably knew about it, but I think at the time she thought it was going to be good for her daughter.
I think her mom is just a little bit dingy. I don't think she's evil, though.
She is dingy. But I don't think she's evil. I think she really did mean well for Starlight, and she just didn't want to. I really believe that she does believe that Starlight does have a purpose.
Yeah.
But I think that she believed that Starlight had a purpose, whether with or without Vought. Mm-hmm. And I think that even though she knew that Starlight was going to have Compound V in her, she knew that Starlight was destined for great things. But she didn't want, she didn't know how to explain it, and that her dad got caught up in the Vought thing too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most people say that Huey is the one who balances out Butcher. And in my mind, that's half true. I think it's Huey and MM who really balance.
Oh yeah, I think it's more MM than him.
Okay, good.
I think it's more Mother's Milk, because Mother's Milk, aka MM, I like calling him MM more. I think MM is the person who's the more stable out of the two of them.
Yeah, like you can tell he came up in a good household. He means well. He's angry at Vought, but he's not consumed by his anger.
Absolutely not, because what was that thing that Grace was telling him? Like, you could try to get them, but...
Yes. Oh, I forget when they're leaving Jonah's place, and she's like, you could get out of this right now, and you don't have to let Vought destroy you like they did your dad. You can get
out of it and not get anything from Vought.
Yeah, like Huey and MM are both reliable, but I feel like MM is more. He's had more life experience,
and he has a backbone.
Yeah,
he has a backbone. He wants to protect his family, and Huey's just a kid, and I think he's learning how to take care of himself now. Mm-hmm. He wants to take care of himself. Whether or not that happens, I guess we'll have to see.
Now, I have two schools of thought on the Church of the Council, I think they call it.
The Church of the Collective.
Church of the Collective.
I remember when he said, "You got me to marry this weirdo," and she was weird.
Yes. I think pretty much everybody knows this is the creators making fun of the Church of Scientology.
I thought it was great that they did that, though.
It is great.
Really funny.
So, a couple questions I have about it.
Okay.
Some people could say this is really ballsy of them to do, especially since Scientology is very popular amongst Hollywood types.
Mm-hmm.
But then somebody can make the counter argument of that might actually make it easier for them, in the sense that so many people now are upset with the Church of Scientology, and there's a lot of ex-Scientologists who are in show business now, instead of everybody's is pro-Scientology.
Exactly.
So do you think this was...
for that? Are you talking about easy for people to leave?
Well, it might make it easier for them to make fun of the Church of Scientology.
Okay.
Right, because now a lot of people in Hollywood are against the church who maybe were on their side 10 to 15 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm wondering, from your perspective, was it a ballsy move, or was it just like no trouble at all for them to make fun of the church?
I don't think it was any trouble at all.
Oh, wow.
Well, and maybe in some ways it was a very daring move.
Mm-hmm.
Ballsy, as you would say. I think it was a very, very daring, gutsy move. But I think it's a little bit of both, to tell you the truth.
Go on.
Yes. Because, like stars like Leah Remini has spoken up about leaving. And that had to be really hard for her.
Mm-hmm.
And John Travolta at one time has spoken up about leaving because they didn't help him when his son died.
I didn't know that he's public about leaving. I've heard rumors.
I heard that he was going to leave and that he was very disappointed in the church. Because his son died, and I guess maybe they didn't reach out to him or help him. Yeah. And then not only that, his wife died too. So he lost 2 people in his life. And I don't know if the Church of Scientology was helping with that too, with the grieving process. I don't know. So I heard that he was going to leave. The only people I heard about was Leah Remini and John Travolta.
There's been other people, though.
Who?
I forget their names. There's some famous script writer in Hollywood. And what a lot of people maybe don't know is that the Church of Scientology is anti-gay. And I know it's a shock because, they have a lot of liberals in the church. They have
really weird stuff, yeah.
Yeah. But there was some measure that came out. I forget what it was called, but it was against gay marriage. And I know about this because it's in the book Going Clear.
Uh-huh.
And
really? Huh.
Yep. And there's a screenwriter in Hollywood whose daughter is gay. And he left the church because he found out that they were funding this anti-gay campaign in California. Wow. And I want to say 2008.
Oh, wow.
And I know that there's other people who have left since
That's insane because, you're right. There are a lot of libs in that church.
Yeah.
Like major libs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I almost worked for the church.
I'm glad
But you already know that story.
Well, especially when you saw the videos and then you heard the last lines of the ending of the video.
You don't have to accept the church. You could just put a bullet in your head instead.
Wow.
I'm not quoting it verbatim, but it's close to that.
That sounds like forcing people to join to me.
Yeah, you're definitely making a very heavy-handed argument.
I will say that for Christianity, people actually have a choice to be one or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like for the Church of Scientology, because they promote being at the level that you should be at with the Sea Org and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you really wanted someone to join, the way you could have worded it was, well, you can make your own choices and make it easy for them to join or not join.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying you could put a bullet in your head. It's like, no. And I don't see anything loving or caring about that religion at all.
No.
It just seems like it's like this one big sci-fi whatever it is.
It's crazy stuff, babes.
It is.
But getting back to the boys real quick.
Okay.
If you had to rate the show on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I don't know. Because there's things I like about it and there's things I don't like. I think it's a total guy show. And I don't know. I mean, I guess in some ways there's some girl power stuff in it.
Girls get it done?
But it's a total guy show.
Okay, that's fair.
To me. So I'm not sure how I would rate it.
But you did enjoy watching it.
Not quite as much as you did, but I enjoyed things about it, yes.
You liked it less than Deep Space Nine, but you still enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm sure we'll watch season 3, but I want to wait until 1, it comes out, and 2, until the entire season is out.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree, because then you would have to wait like another week for it to.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, because they come to this like weekly release schedule, which
it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, it is.
It's really hard to keep up.
What would you rate the last episode of season 2?
I think I'd give it an 8.
Okay.
Because so many good things about it. I'm glad that in some ways evil did not win. And I'm also glad that that the person who you thought was evil actually did something good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Would you recommend this show to anybody you know? And if so, what's your elevator pitch?
That's really interesting. I'm not sure who in my family would watch it, because there's a lot of racist stuff in there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, like pro-gay stuff in there that people may be uncomfortable with. And then there's also,
there's not a lot of pro-gay stuff.
Well, I mean, it's corny. I know it's corny, but not everybody's going to receive it very well. And then there's also, I'm just being honest.
Okay.
And then there's also like very violent themes. A lot of people are exploding and
there's a little bit of cursing in
No, there's a lot, Bubs.
Okay.
There's a lot more cursing in there than your average 8 rated R movie.
Uh-oh.
Well, I take that back. Maybe it could be... it's worse. It's worse.
There's a lot of cursing in
It's worse. It's worse. But
okay.
More than your average 8 or rated R movie.
Oh.
So, I mean, I don't know if I could recommend it, honestly.
Wow, but you did enjoy it, though.
Yes, I did.
So, you said something very interesting to me, and I don't want to harp on this too much.
Uh-oh, we got to get to the other movies.
We will. But you said there's pro-gay stuff in The Boys, and I guess you're right, there is pro-gay stuff. And I just, I don't have an issue with that. But I'm curious, could you... Because your family is very religious and...
Well, some people are not, okay? I've always said that my family is a mixed bag because there are people in my family that are pro-LGBT.
Good.
But...
So my question to you, could you ever recommend a movie or TV show with pro-gay messages in them to your family members?
I guess. I mean, I just don't know if I could recommend this as a whole.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
That's what I mean. I mean, we and my family have watched some pro-gay stuff. I mean, in TV series.
Yeah.
Like, as you know, I or maybe you don't know, Glee had a gay kid in the story.
I've never seen Glee, so I did not know that.
Okay. So we've watched some stuff like that, but it's like, some people are not comfortable with it in my family either.
Okay, and I could see with The Boys because there's other issues too. When you said pro-gay, I'm like, oh, I thought you could be a Christian.
No. You misunderstood because I have said that there are people in my family that are a mixed bag.
Yes. Well, good. I'm glad the bag is mixed.
So I'm not sure who in my family or friends would want to watch it as a whole.
Yeah.
Honestly, because they really have to, that they would have to have like a viewer discretion advised, talk before the beginning of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a different show.
It is a different show.
But it's probably my favorite show that's currently on TV.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, good, Jaylo. I'm glad if you're not you're not going to watch it with your mom.
No, I don't think she'd like it.
I don't think your mom would like it either.
I don't know. She would feel very uncomfortable.
Yes. Hey, a guy I want to introduce you to named Butch. I think you're really going to like him, okay?
Right.
I don't think your mom would be a Butcher fan.
No, I'm sure that Carl Irvin would be a nice person to talk to in real life.
Yeah.
But I I would be like, you're not gonna like bite off my head and call me names, are you? Don't take a gun now and try to shoot me in the head.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, no, love, that's not what I want to do. No, he probably would be a really cool person to have dinner with, but but I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be like, ugh, you know.
Yes.
Got a little bit of a visceral feeling about butcher there. Okay.
Yes. Well, good.
Don't butcher me, Carl Urban.
So after we watch The Boys, we go to make dinner, and there's a few issues.
And I was very, very disappointed because I really wanted to make mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, baked potatoes. And I got everything for it, and we go to check the potatoes, and every one of the potatoes is bad. And just to clarify things, I was keeping track of the potatoes because you could tell from the outside if they're bad or not.
Yeah, you can feel.
And I was very, very disappointed that we were not able to have baked potatoes last night.
But it wasn't the end of the world.
But it wasn't the end of the world. And what did we do for dinner then?
I ordered us some Panda Express.
Yes. When you can't figure out what to have for dinner, ordering is good. Yes. So I still have some leftovers. So I'm going to get into that later on.
Nice, Jay. Well, it was good stuff, babes.
It was very good. And you finished yours.
Oh, yeah, I always do.
You just scarf it down like, and I said, you don't have to rush. Jeez.
Yes.
Yeah. But it was good.
But good there, Jay. Well, and then we saw the Pink Panther last night, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Yes.
You were keeping, for some reason, the Pink Panther, you were doing a lot better job keeping track of it than I was. Yeah. So I'd like you to give
I'm not going to give like a detail by detail.
I was confused
honestly,
a lot.
It was kind of confusing.
Oh, good.
Because it involved an inspector and his wife, and we find out more about them. It also involved a rich princess, and I can't remember what her name was. And then you got the Pink Panther, or AKA Sir Charles the Phantom, who is trying to figure out who stole this diamond.
Can I ask you a really dumb question?
What's that?
And again, I very much got the feeling last night that you were really on top of knowing the story, and it was just me. So do the and you may not know the answers. And I don't really know Peter Sellers' work that well, but do the sequels, do they follow the inspector who got arrested at the end of the movie?
I have no idea.
Okay.
So there was a sequel called The Pink Panther, The Emperor Strikes Back.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple other sequels.
Not to be confused with The Emperor Strikes Back for Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you because I did watch that with a bunch of people, and I was partly really, really tired. Okay. And a lot of it was visual too. Mm. So. Nice. But I heard it was funny.
Nice.
I don't know if Peter Sellers is in the sequel, but I'm going to say this, that I thought it was funny because a lot of people were falling and getting hit.
Yeah.
With doors. So Sir Charles is the Pink Panther, aka the Phantom, and he's trying to figure out who stole this diamond. Also, the princess loses her dog, and trying to figure out what was happening with that. It was quite funny. I'm going to say, this is going to be really, really short because I don't want to go into too much detail.
Yeah.
But, the inspector's wife was having some kind of affair with, Sir Charles, but also his nephew George. Mm-hmm. It turns out that the inspector, I think, paid some money for his wife. Something to that effect.
Oh wow, I didn't even catch that.
Or bought his wife or something like that. Like they weren't as in love as I thought he was. I don't remember. But anyway, and then she was the one, I think she was the one who stole the dog.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly. And again, you could look it up if I'm completely wrong. And Yeah, but there was an issue I had with the movie, and there was a scene where the princess had a drink of champagne for the first time, and she ends up kissing Charles.
Yeah.
Which I thought, what does this have to do with anything? And they don't end up together, by the way.
Yeah.
At least was what I remember. So that was very strange. I honestly thought it was a fun movie. I'd probably give it a 7 because it was confusing.
Yeah, that's when a movie's confusing, it takes it down a notch, but there were a lot of laughs in the movie.
Yeah, people were getting hit, people were falling over. It was really funny when the inspector's wife goes into the wrong room.
Yeah. And hits on George.
Instead of Charles.
I think it was that George was in the room and Charles didn't know it, and Charles was out doing something else.
Yeah, and meanwhile her husband is trying to get her some warm milk.
Yeah.
And he said, I had to force someone to get me some milk. It was a lot of funny things.
There were. I don't know if you can really do character analysis.
No, it's hard to do.
But what I will say is, it was interesting.
Yeah, I'd watch that, and if you want to watch the Pink Panther, The Emperor Strikes Back, I would too, because I heard it was funny.
Nice. Well, you saw it.
Well, I did, but again, I was really tired, so I wasn't really paying attention.
Oh, okay.
So I saw it, but I wasn't attentive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good, Jaylo.
Very good.
Then we saw Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Yes. Would you like to give that an analysis?
So it starts off, a senator dies suddenly. And somebody has to choose his successor. And that man's name is Senator...
His name is Jefferson Smith, played by Jimmy Stewart.
He's a successor, but who chooses him? The old guy.
Joseph Payne.
And
he has some young boys.
Who advocate for him.
Yes, he's like, you really have to vote this guy in. He's great.
Yeah. They want him to join the team.
Yeah.
And what we find out is Payne knew Jefferson Smith's dad. Jefferson Smith's dad thought that he was a really honorable man, Payne.
Yeah.
And they go to Washington. Payne decided to pick Smith because there's a big bill related to this dam coming up in a couple of months. Uh-huh. And he thinks, well, if Smith doesn't know too much about this, he'll go along with what I say to vote for him. Mm-hmm. So they get to Washington. Smith avoids everybody to go on a ride around Washington, D.C. and see the monuments. Mm-hmm. He gets to his office very late at night. He tells the secretary what's up. Her name was
Carissa Saunders. Or Miss Saunders, if you want to call her that.
At first he thinks this guy is a complete, dummy.
And I quit. I don't want to be working here anymore in politics. I hate it.
But your man Payne says, listen, just stay on for a couple months and I'm going to be moving up in the world. You're one of my loyal people. You're going to come with me to the top. But you got to do this for me first. Mm-hmm. She's like, okay. There's a reporter who's in love with her. They're going through the motions. Jefferson feels like he's not doing enough. Mm-hmm. So he goes to Payne, and Payne's like, well, you know what you should do? If you want to feel like you're an important part of the Senate, why don't you ask Miss Saunders to help you craft a bill? I think that would be really something, right? Mm-hmm. Now, we should also say that the press is kind of making fun of him for his homespun ways.
Yep.
He had the idea of, wouldn't it be cool to open up a boys' camp during the summer so that kids from the inner city can go away and learn something about nature? The Fed would fund this for the state, but we'd pay them back with donations from the Boy Scouts. Talks to Miss Saunders. They agree to write a bill. And she's starting to come around to this dude. Mm-hmm. She finds out where he wants to land, and wouldn't you know it, it's also where the dam is supposed to be.
Right.
She doesn't say anything at first.
Yes.
Eventually, she quits and says that she's going to get married to the reporter. They end up not getting married, but Miss Saunders and him remain friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Smith goes to see Payne, and Payne says, sometimes you have to play a game in life, and I'm going to have you meet up with my associates. One of them is James Taylor, but he doesn't have his guitar. Instead, he has a checkbook.
He's an old guy.
He's seen fire and he's seen rain, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Go and talk to him. And Taylor basically says, I've been paying off for the last 20 years.
Yep.
And if you play ball with us, you can have any job you want. You can even remain in the Senate. But, help a brother out here.
Yeah.
Jefferson says, you're a liar. I know Mr. Payne is an honorable man. Goes back to Payne, and Payne explains, I used to be an idealist like you, bro. And then I realized if I wanted to stay in power, I had to play the game a little bit. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I've sold out a little bit, but think of all the good things I've been able to do for our state because I've entertained people like James Taylor.
Yep.
Right? They go to the Senate, and they're making a motion on the bill for the dam. Jimmy Stewart interrupts it, and before he can really go on a rant, I think it's for the dam, your man Payne comes forward and says, we have proof that Jefferson Smith actually owns the land that he wants us to pay for. Mm-hmm. There's a big commotion. They forge some signatures. The press is against him. Comes in, and he knows this is going to be his last day. So he filibusters for like 24 hours.
Yep.
I'm leaving some stuff out, but he collapses. Your man Payne decides that he's going to be honest and say that everything that Smith said was true, and he's corrupt and he hates it. And that's basically where the movie ends. There's some things I liked about this movie. I thought the acting from everybody was really, really on point.
Yes.
I like how they address corruption. Mm-hmm. For the most part, I didn't like the ending because it seemed unrealistic that Payne would just come out and say
I know. I was just thinking that too. Like, he wouldn't just come out and admit it.
No.
It was me.
No.
Yeah.
I know why they did it, because it was a different time, and it was pre-World War II, but there was kind of a thought in 1939 that maybe we might help with the fight against Germany. But the film seemed a little bit too over-patriotic for my taste. And when I knew that we were kind of in trouble in that direction for real was when he got to the train station in Washington and left everybody to tour the different monuments. Because that just struck me as, this is unrealistic, and it's a little bit too over-the-top patriotism. Now, I obviously knew we were going to get some of that.
Yep.
But I didn't know we were going to go that far.
Right.
You were, I don't want to say more into that stuff, but you grew up in a more patriotic way than I did, because your parents, you're first generation American. Mm-hmm. And what I've noticed from people who either immigrate from this country or their kids is they have more of...
Oh, immigrate to the country?
Yeah. People who immigrate to this country or the kids of people who immigrate to this country, generally speaking, have a more positive take on America. And there's a lot of different reasons for that, but I don't think you saw the patriotism as big of a problem as I did.
No, and I did ask you a question. I said, well, think about it though. Would you expect anything less from Jimmy Stewart?
Which was a really good point.
And I said, because remember, Jimmy Stewart was in the Army, I think.
He actually rose to the rank of admiral. A lot of people don't know that he stayed in the Army after World War II. But he was part of the reserves. And
I love his performances either in comedies or dramas, mm-hmm. right? He's a great actor.
Yes.
But as far as the patriotism goes, I said, well, would you expect any less from a patriot like Jimmy Stewart? Mm-hmm. Because you said that he was in the Army even when he was acting, right?
Well,
or after World War II.
After World War II, he stayed in the Army Reserves.
Yeah.
And I think he rose to the rank of admiral. Because he stayed in until like 1968.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's impressive. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, why wouldn't he be in a movie like that?
And I believe his stepson, who he helped raise mm-hmm. from the time the kid was like really small, mm-hmm. died in Vietnam.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. That's really sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those are really good points. And his acting is great in this movie. I enjoyed the acting. It's just that the patriotism was a little bit too heavy-handed for my take.
I thought it was really funny when most of the people that were in the Senate chambers, when he was giving the filibuster, was asleep.
That was great. That was great. There's a lot of things to like about this movie. I'd probably give it a strong 7.
Yes, I would too.
Nice.
I would too. Definitely stronger than the Pink Panther, even though the Pink Panther was very enjoyable.
One thing I do really like about the Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is that they address corruption in a real way. Yeah,
they did. I also like that those kids were involved too.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't keep the kids out of the political discussion.
Mm-hmm. Because they have like pages for the Senate, and they're like maybe 12 years old, 10, something like that. And
then Miss Saunders is like, okay, boys, let's get to work. You got to print all those things.
Because James Taylor owned the newspapers in the state where Jimmy Stewart was from.
Yeah.
And he worked to get the competition delayed in their press. So the only way that Miss Saunders could make sure that the message that Jimmy Stewart was giving on the Senate floor was to contact the paper that Mr. Smith started for the Boy Scouts and have them print what was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought that was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was really funny because they were playing "Oh My Darling,"
my darling,
my darling. They were playing Clementine. I thought that was really funny. It's like da 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 da. That was really funny. I'm like, did you hear that? And you're like, oh yeah, I think I did.
Once you pointed it out, I noticed it.
I thought that was kind of funny.
What does this movie teach us about keeping our ideals intact?
Well, what really stood out for me as far as keeping ideals intact is remember when Miss Saunders tells Jefferson, you know, don't give up. Mm-hmm. And she gave up for a while on working as a secretary for as a Senate secretary, right?
But she'd also given up on her ideals long before then.
Yeah, she did. She was very jaded in the movie. And, but she gave him that speech, like saying, don't give up. Stay in it, stay in there, but you cannot give up. So, I like the message about fighting for what you believe is right and not backing down. Even if your ideals are homespun.
Yeah.
As they thought that his ideals were homespun. And he almost did. He's like, oh, who am I kidding? I mean, all these American values I was trying to teach the kids and all that other stuff. I mean, that's ridiculous. And then she said, well, what are you going to tell your kids when you go back home?
That was cool.
Yeah. Because she realized then that, oh, maybe I gave up too soon.
The theme of corruption is timeless. Mm-hmm. I'm sure from the times of when we were in tribes, it didn't work where you would get $100 bill, but you could probably give somebody a couple warheads for them to side with you during a vote on what the tribe was going to do. Uh-huh. And I'm sure 200 years from now, if our species is still around, we may not be giving out pictures of Abraham Lincoln, but it might take the form of some weird new electronic currency or what have you. Mm-hmm. Or something else if we have a nuclear disaster and go back to the Stone Age. But that makes the movie resonate, and it also makes it a little bit dated. And let me explain why. The thing that the rest of the senators got mad at Jimmy Stewart for, and were going to kick him out of the Senate for, was for owning the land that would have benefited from his bill. And I think if that happened today, whether it was a Democrat or a Republican, nobody would bat an eye. Nobody in the Senate would be like, this makes you a horrible human being. You need to get out of here. Yeah. If anything, it would make them be like, oh, this is going to benefit one of our colleagues. Right. Let's give him a pass on this one. Mm-hmm. Let's give him a win. Mm-hmm. So what does this film tell us about how the Senate has changed through the decades, or has it? Like maybe I'm assuming it was probably like it back then, but the press just spun things differently.
I don't know how to comment on that one.
Okay.
I mean, maybe they have changed. Maybe the Senate has changed when it comes to that kind of an issue, or maybe it hasn't. I don't know.
Yeah, it might just be the press has changed.
Yeah.
And back then it wouldn't be reported on. And back then nobody would think this movie was unrealistic for thinking a senator would be kicked out for profiting off of a bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend this movie to anybody?
Oh yeah. I would actually, if I was taking a civics class, I definitely recommend that we watch it. Really makes you think about corruption and what to do about it. And I don't know. I liked it. I think it would have been great to see. Well, that wouldn't be a portrayal of a real event, but I think it would have been interesting to see that in my U.S. history class in high school.
Of maybe how corruption worked through generations.
Right, exactly.
Or through the ages, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, good. Is there anything you want to ask me about the movie, or?
Which character really resonated with you in this movie that you think? Well, what do you think?
I liked Mrs. Saunders.
Yes.
Because she's kind of like an ex-idealist when the movie starts, and then she gets her mojo back.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot. Jimmy Stewart I liked, but it's almost like he's too homespun for me in this movie. So it becomes unrealistic.
Huh.
Right? So I like his character, but I couldn't identify with him. Okay. But I can identify with her because I see myself in some ways as somebody who's been idealistic before and then lost it and become jaded and then repeats the processes, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think that's a lot of that is in Mrs. Saunders. So probably her.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything else you want to say about the movie, babes?
Oh no, it was really good.
Nice.
Go watch it. It's very good.
Thank you, AJ. Well, I watched it last night.
Well, not you.
I know what you mean, babes.
Ah.
Jaylo.
Yes.
Did you have any dreams?
I had a dream that I didn't mention yesterday,
Go
and
ahead.
I totally forgot about it. I had a dream that you were supposed to come over, and I think it might have been on a Friday or a Saturday. And my relatives show up unexpectedly. My aunt and uncle show up, then my cousins and other relatives, and I'm like, this is insane. I've been having dreams about them showing up at my apartment. It's insane. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my dream. And I called you up and I said, my family's over here. I don't think you should come over.
So I did have a dream last night, but before we get there,
yeah.
Something just entered my head that I keep forgetting to bring up, and I feel if I don't, then we're never going to get to it.
Okay.
Did we talk about the Mexico thing? Here?
No, we didn't.
Okay. So I've been going down this rabbit hole of luxury things recently, as we all know. And maybe 5 or 6 days ago, I start watching YouTube videos of apartment tours in Mexico. One of them really stood out. It was of a lady who paid, I think, $420 a month for her apartment. She had to furnish it with a stove and refrigerator, but she's like a 2-block walk from the beach in a community town, and has 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms for $420 a month. And I thought to myself, if me and my Jaylo pulled our money and moved to Mexico, we can make it work. So I'm really thinking about this, and then I bring it up to you, and you're like, that's not going to happen.
Well, you have to think about it, though, because we already have roots in this country.
Yeah.
Also, we have to think about, you can't just live there. You have to be on a visa.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
And you also have to go through their process of becoming a Mexican citizen.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't want to go through that. And also, think about this. We don't know what their, because different countries have different ways of sanitizing things.
Mm-hmm.
We also have to think about that. And then there's also a language barrier because I don't know enough Spanish to get by in Mexico.
That's true. It was a thought, though.
But I appreciate that you brought it up to me and you didn't just decide, okay, we're going to go to Mexico.
We're going to Mexico.
It's like, no.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, I mean, I enjoyed my month in the Philippines, but I don't know if I could live there.
No.
Because, you know, there's sanitation things, and there's also a language barrier, and, you know, I probably wouldn't be able to get as many services as I could here with disability services.
That's true, babes.
And then there's also job opportunities as well.
Yes.
I wouldn't have had the job opportunities had I moved to another country.
Nice, Jaylo.
So, anyway, yeah.
All right, so now let me tell you about the dream I had last night.
Whoa.
I'm in Denver, Colorado, and hanging out with some girl. Now, she only exists in my dreams, for the best of my knowledge.
You don't remember her?
I don't remember her from real life. And I think we had just seen a concert. We were going to the bus. Then we were going to go different ways. Mm-hmm. Out of nowhere, a female student of mine shows up. And she does exist in real life, the student. She's like, okay, I'm going to join you guys. Let's go find the bus, blah, blah, blah. We find it. Fast forward to the next morning. I did not get on the plane. I went back with the girl I was hanging out with. I get up in the morning, go into the living room, and she's talking on the phone with my female student about the night me and this girl had out the night before.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I woke up.
Oh. I'm glad you don't know this person. Blah-blah.
There we go there, babbles. But I'm still a polyamorous streamer there.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm going to be birthday boy soon. I'm going to be polyamorous birthday boy.
Oh, jeez. Yes, you're going to be birthday boy.
Yes, polyamorous streamer birthday boy.
Oh my.
Yes.
Well, is this gonna be like Jaylo and the Birthday Boy 3?
Yep, part 3.
Part 3.
Mm-hmm. Sequel that everybody wanted, but everybody was too afraid to ask for.
What else?
Well, good, babes. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
I don't think so. I'm very excited about what's going to happen next week.
Yes. So we're with a birthday boy.
Like a birthday boy.
That's right, babes.
Yeah, I'm excited about what we're going to do with what we were thinking about doing with the ham and the turkey and this time good potatoes.
It's going to turn out good, babes.
That's right.
That's right. All right, babes. I think we should kiss, and then it's getting crazy out there, so you should probably kick me out.
Okay.
All right.
Stop it.
What?
Normal.
Normal. Oh, Jaylo. I love you there, normal Jaylo.
All right, then.
All right, do you love me?
Of course I do, yes. I love you.
All right, babes, I love you. Let's wrap this up.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.